Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Uncomfortably Candid podcast. Today, I have a confession to make. I was already looking up going back to school before I had even made it back home from my graduation in Virginia Beach earlier this month. And I have been telling people, like, do not let me go back to school. Like, I am done. First of all, there's not much that you can do after a doctorate. But also, I need to take what I've learned and do something with it. Um, you can't just be a student forever. And I think that that's what I'm having to walk through is who am I outside of being a student now that I've graduated? And I think I was hiding behind it, behind this title of being a student. And it was easy to say I was a student, it relieved some of the pressure in internal and external pressure and like what are you going to do afterwards um I just think that we gain our identity from our titles way too much in life. And I've talked about this in my Instagram, but how do you describe yourself when someone asks about you? Do you immediately refer to what you do, what your job title is, whether you're a mom, you work in business, you're a psychologist, you're a student, whatever it is that your go-to? Because most of the time when we meet someone new, the first thing we ask them is, what do you do? I mean, I know I do that. And I think it limits getting to know that person for who they are behind, like outside of what they do. And it also, regardless of whether you know you do this or not, I feel like a lot of the times we already have judged this person just by what they do before we even get to know them. And so my friend told me about this conference that where they didn't talk about what they did until the very last day. And I think that if we incorporated this into just normal everyday life, when we do that, we're all at a level playing field. There's no judgment, and we actually get to know people outside of what they do and for who they truly are and who they were created to be. And I just think that when you separate titles from identity, and I think that, being a student is not part of my identity. I think I somewhat attached it to it, but I am a lifelong learner, and learner is one of my top strengths, but there are negative aspects to strengths, and you have to be careful not to overutilize them. And the on the opposite end of the spectrum of learner, the barrier label is, curiosity may lead to irrelevance or non-productivity. And I don't want to be in that type of, I don't want to be the type of person that is just always learning and never does anything with it, is what I'm trying to say. Because learning is about the process, but you can't live there forever. So I want this podcast to encourage you that if you cannot sit down and describe yourself without titles or without explaining what you do, then take the time to do that. take the time to sit down and describe who you are and write down who you are without writing down any titles or anything related to what you do. And I think that's it. I just think it's so important to separate identity from titles because we are not what we do. So I hope you enjoyed listening, and I will see you all next time. Bye.